Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Awesome. So you see, it is a live.
Suspense for 3
So
minutes.
let's start from beginning.
Okay.
Dear viewers, welcome to the Sweet Art Master Kitchen Talk. We are so happy to hear you and see you. Thank you so much for your passion and love to this channel. Don't forget to subscribe and your likes and comments. So follow us on social media. So it is not secret that people of our community love American Cake Decorating Magazine. So don't forget to subscribe and renew your subscription. And today I have a pleasure to speak with a person behind of these pages. So please welcome AnnMarrie Mattila, editor-in-chief of American Cake Decorating Magazine and true voice of our industry.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So I always like to start from beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your first steps in this industry.
Ooh, okay. I have an interesting journey. So I originally went to school for fashion, and was in the fashion industry for many, many years. Always had a love for pastry and baking. I had a sweet tooth and was taking some recreational culinary classes here in New York. And really thinking, man, I really want to go to pastry school. I'm not so sure. And then I entered a contest on the Food Network. Like I didn't enter anything except my name and my email address. And I won a partial scholarship to pastry school at the Institute of Culinary Education. And I thought that was a sign, good sign. And so I went to pastry school part-time while I was working in corporate fashion. And because most of the people I worked with were women getting married and having babies, I started baking cakes for them. And I was their go-to cake people, from, making bridal shower and baby shower cakes to them being teenagers. And for years, I balanced those two lives, corporate fashion and baking cakes. And
awesome.
Yeah. And I remember there was, I was talking to one of the professors there, and I was like, is that weird? And she's like, no, there are tons of people that move from like one creative field to another. So it was not surprising. Elisa Strauss is one cake person I can think of that switched from fashion to cake. So I'm not the only one.
I don't know people who switch from cakes to fashion.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good switch. You might want to switch back. I'm just saying.
So the idea for people in fashion, just join our industry. It is the best of the best.
Yeah, we're better. We're better. It's a much sweeter industry, I'll tell you that much.
So you have you studied in NYU, in Institute of Culinary Education, and I myself is a big fan of education. So just your opinion for young generation. So it's still worth it or not?
That totally depends on the person. I am a school person. I couldn't seem to stop going back to school. I didn't get my master's degree until I was 40. So I love to learn. And for people who like to learn and learn from professionals, school to me was worth it. Now, that's not to say it's for everybody. There are people out there that are amazing artists and because of, social media and the internet, you can learn so much just by watching and doing what other people do from online lessons and teaching yourself. So there's so many self-taught bakers out there that are in my magazine that are incredible. For me personally, I needed to go to school for it. I felt like the education was necessary, especially because I switched careers. And I felt like that was a step forward. And, you have to weigh the options because school's expensive and time is money, and you have to pay for school and then find the time to do it. And I was working full time and going to school part time. And then when I had to do my internship, I was working 7 days a week. That's just the nature of it. So you just have to weigh that. But, there's all types of education out there, and thanks to the internet and books and people, this community is very helpful. So do you have to go? No. Was it worth it for me? Absolutely. And would I do it all over again? 100%.
Yeah, in my opinion, the people in our community, they're really the best of the best.
Yes.
So when I started my journey, I was no one. I didn't know about cakes, almost like zero. And
Yeah.
I met so many people who happy to help.
Yes.
So it is absolutely amazing experience. I don't know other industry who in the industry that people wanna share so much.
It really truly is a community, and an education community, and people really do want to help each other. I mean, obviously there's rivalries and there's, you know, bad seeds, but for the most part, this is such a loving community that really wants to help everybody learn and grow. And you never stop learning. No matter what level you are, you're always going to learn something new. If you attend shows or classes, there's always something, even if it's one little thing that you learn, you'll never stop learning in this community. And I think that's so important.
It's important to have subscription on American Cake Decorating
That's right.
Magazine
Yes.
because
Subscribe to
they
the magazine.
always know about new ways to do something sweet on your table.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We try and, you know, be on trend, call out the trends, talk to, you know, cake makers out that they're on the cutting edges of the trends. We do our best. And of course, you know, always circling back to like tried and true traditional ways of making things as well. You know, it's a balance. You need to learn all of them because, you know, if you don't know how to make a proper gum paste rose, you're never going to be able to make all the amazing new flowers out there. So you always have to start with the basics. So we try and balance it, you know, of like between education and trends. And, you know, we all have all levels as well. So, you know, you can be a beginner and learn something from the magazine, or you can be, you know, what we call a level 4 professional and still learn something. So
yeah, the industry always in movement.
yes,
so you
constant.
Always find something to learn.
Absolutely. When I started in pastry school, there was, you know, fondant and gum paste flowers and, you know, pastillage. And now there's wafer paper, which, you know, we didn't have in pastry school in 2008. And buttercream wasn't cool back then. And now it's everywhere. So, you know, there's always different trends that ebb and flow, and it's important to just pay attention to what's going on, and that's why the magazine is there, right? To talk to the community and make sure, you know, we're all learning new things.
Yeah, we so appreciate your input. So from your opinion is a managing editor, what do you looking for?
I am looking for somebody with a point of view. I am looking for someone who has something to share. I know that seems vague, but if you have a point of view and you have something that you really care about and really love, you know, just recently, we're sneak peek into the next issue. We're talking about the long table cakes that are really, really popular right now. And we reached out to a fairly new self-taught cake baker in Canada who's just starting to do them. About it, and it's going to be great. You know, she's writing this article. She's only been in the industry for a few years, and she's writing this incredible thing about this trend that, you know, she's making tons of money on. You know, so what I'm saying is it's any level. And I also love talking to, you know, professionals like yourself who are, you know, strict on the botanical correctness of flowers. As long as you have a point of view and you can take a pretty photo, that's key. I mean, listen, Photoshop helps a little bit, you know, but you have to know how to take good photos. You have to follow directions. And anybody who submits to me, I give them feedback. I give them directions. You can ask questions any day of the week. I'm always available on email. So as long as you have a point of view and follow the directions, and take a pretty decent photo, there's a good chance that you can make it in the magazine. You know, anybody, and again, it's any level and any medium too. I think a lot of people just think, oh, it needs to be fondant or gum paste. but it doesn't need to be. We have some tremendous chocolate artists out there. We cross over into baking and pastry as well. So any of those techniques that could cross over into cake baking and cookie decorating, because I can't forget the cookie decorators out there. They're just as talented. I'm happy to hear from. I love it. I think anybody who's ready, willing, and able to want to submit to a cake magazine already has that like sense of self and determination. And I'll be honest, sometimes I don't want to say people get rejected, but like sometimes I have to give constructive feedback and say, this is not quite for our magazine, but then say, hey, try this XYZ to get there. And almost everybody does.
And I would like to add that American Cake Decorating magazine not just providing the recipes and new information about new techniques. They provide advice for bakers and cake decorators about business, about pictures. And I know how important to have good pictures. So the Photoshop aside, like having good picture, it's absolutely must have.
Yes.
So you must be not just cake decorator and baker. You must be a photographer and planner and above.
Yes, absolutely. You have to be everything nowadays. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you learn how to take a good photo of your cake for a magazine, that means if you are running a business, or even just if you're doing it for social media, that photo is that much better for your social media space. That's a representation of your artwork, and you want it to be the best representation possible. So you're right, the magazine, absolutely. We have a column every other issue that talks about food photography, cake photography specifically, just different pieces of advice. And yes, we have Sid. Shout out to Sid. I hope you're watching. Sid Mitchell Hodges.
I love her.
She's the best. She has been writing for ACD for years. She's our business advice columnist, and now she's our digital director as well, helping us get to the next level. So her insight is invaluable, no matter what type of business you have, even if it is a cottage small bakery working out of your house, to, a full-scale operation. Her advice truly is invaluable.
So if our viewers didn't know, we had an interview with Sid like a few months ago. So check it out. It's lots of wisdom in this interview.
Yes.
She is a truly special person in our industry.
She really is.
Because you can learn from her tons of new information. So check it out.
Yes.
So speaking about trends, what trends this year or last year, or you predict in the future, would be fashion in our industry? What way do you think would be nice to explore for cake decorators?
Yeah. Ooh, that's, God, tough questions. It's really interesting to see that the one layer but very large table cakes, like I mentioned before, are really, really popular right now, and they don't seem to be going away. And I think the benefit of it is that a lot of people have a challenge going vertically. Stacking tiers is challenging in itself. And I think the opportunity to have a large landscape on a giant table is just a totally different canvas. You can do similar techniques, but to see something like horizontal versus vertical is a whole different challenge. So I'm really enjoying that.
I think it's a very good idea. Just do this cake, put on the table, and give each guest knife. So you don't need to get it home.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about, stabilizing it and inedible things inside a cake to hold it up, which some people still do, So I think that's interesting. I think it also, because you can adopt so many different media for those large cakes, and especially for weddings, I think the visual's really interesting. And again, it's much easier to serve. So,
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing is depending on how big it is, transportation.
Delivery. Yeah.
It, it's just as big of a challenge in a totally different way. Like how big is a trunk, and can you put that cake in there? So
But
actually
anyway, it's easier deliver this cake in New York than
oh,
taller one because
I
our
would
roads.
I would like to say so, except then you have to get a big van, and those are treacherous to drive through New York. So yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
really I find that interesting. And I think I hate to use the phrase ugly cakes, but the really unique kind of often domed, kind of almost modern art looking techniques, I don't think are going away anytime soon. Is it my aesthetic? Not necessarily, but people love it. I kind of hope Lambeth is dying, to be honest with you. I'm over it. But I love that people are getting even more creative with buttercream. And I don't see that going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it's absolutely different way to work with fondant in buttercream. So
Absolutely.
if people challenge themselves, so just try one way and switch and try this way. So
Absolutely.
it's both ways work fine for weddings and birthdays. It
Mhm.
just improve your skills like cake decorator.
Absolutely. And especially, if you are at the beginning of your career, just try it. Try whatever because you might surprise yourself. You really might surprise yourself in what kind of medium you like the best. I've met decorators who started in buttercream, but then found edible oil paints, and it turns out they can paint landscapes on again a flat cake, and it looks like a piece of art, but got into painting with edible oils. So try it. If you don't like it and that's not your thing, fine, but at least you can say you've tried, and it's always good to challenge yourself with new skills, especially depending on where you are and if it is really competitive where you live and you do have a business. Some people are always like, okay, I'm going to be only the fondant cake person, but if that goes out of fashion and you're trying to make money, you do have to keep your options open. I mean, if you're lucky, if you live in a place like New York, it is competitive, but also there are so many people that, if you only do gum paste, they're going to come to you for gum paste, and you can automatically say no to buttercream. But if you're in a smaller area, it behooves you, it benefits you to learn different techniques.
Especially for beginners, you
Yes,
just try
try it.
everything, and on the way you learn a lot,
You
and
do.
on the on the end you understand, you like it, but I can do it.
Right. Well, even if you're learning how to pipe with buttercream and you learn the pressure of holding a bag in your hand and how to squeeze out properly using buttercream, that's just going to make, if you decide to switch to royal icing, it's going to make your technique that much better because, buttercream, big shells with buttercream is step one. Being able to control a small nozzle with royal icing is step three, but you're going to learn and get better at that technique because you learned something else.
Yeah, and like my opinion, nowadays people try to use molds for everything. Like,
Everything.
yeah, it's like a solution for everything. But
Hmm.
just if you think it's like uh for about your time, so just count your time when you use the mold for shells or you just pipe the shells.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's easy peasy to just know how to pipe them. It's like 2-3 minutes
Yes.
with cleaning, and
Yes.
you just separated the gum paste or fondant from the mold.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure I still have it somewhere, is I learned how to make um like chocolate, modeling chocolate. We called it chocolate plastic in pastry school, but basically modeling chocolate. And we learned how to make flowers, but we just cut out a little rose petal from, a piece of paper, like and drew it ourselves, and cut it out well, it ended up being cardboard, but you can create, different things and cut out cardboard and not have to spend, all this money on a mold necessarily. Sometimes molds are worth it, right? Absolutely. But if you don't have the space or the money to constantly buy molds, um, it helps to learn how to just do it yourself or do a different technique that'll do the same thing where you don't have to buy a mold.
Yeah, when I started with sugar flowers, I bought just real flowers, made these samples, and I worked on place them on the gum paste. So it was like many years ago. So we didn't have enough cutters and molds. So we all usually did it, but really by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, me and X-Acto knives, man.
Yes.
I just had a huge collection of X-Acto knives and I just carved things out a lot of times, before these 3D printers could print out all this amazing things. Sometimes, printing something out, cutting around it, and then tracing with an X-Acto knife and just letting it dry a little bit before you put it on a cake works just as well. Be creative in how you build your own things.
So anyway, it give you opportunity to learn, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And improve. Maybe like when I started my journey with sugar flowers, so step by step, it came the way this came with cutters and veiners and molds. It's natural way. So but when you started something, you understand it's yours or not. If not, just leave it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You learn a lot.
You really do. I mean, I have a closet full of things I haven't touched in years because I bought a mold and I was like, I never am going to use this again. And then, there are some that are precious to me and are, like 20 years old and they're dying, but I love them so much. And you just learn as you go.
I think all cake decorators have something they never used.
Yeah.
But they never give up.
No.
They will buy and buy.
It's gone from apartment to apartment with me. It's been, some of these things have been in like 5 different apartments with me. So.
So when you bought something and you just hope you will use it one day.
Because if you get rid of it, then it's going to be the day where you need it. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my question about the contest you participated in.
What contest? Oh, you mean the one where I won the scholarship?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did not participate in anything. When I tell you, I put my name and my email address. It was like a commercial on the Food Network. They're like, enter on this website and put your name and your email address. And I thought it was spam when I got like, congratulations, you won. That's all. Like there were 3 scholarships, and you had to like mark off if you wanted culinary, pastry, or what's their business one called? Business administration or whatever that degree is called. And then you just had to mark off and I put pastry. And I won. That was it. That's how easy it was. I didn't compete in anything. I think especially back then, I would have been too afraid to compete and like submit anything, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just got lucky. I don't think those kinds of things exist anymore in this world of like, especially with the Food Network, everything's a competition now. So back then it wasn't. There were a few, there were a few.
So speaking about competitions, and I'm very grateful to American Cake Decorating Magazine. They are sponsoring Sweet Art Masters second year.
Yes,
so
we are.
It meant a lot. So your opinion about competitions right now?
Yes.
So we have a shortage of them, of course.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Unfortunately.
It's very unfortunate.
Your advice for young generation who want to be someone in our industry. So it's worth it or not?
Yes, it is. It is. Just enter. Just like we were saying, just try the technique, just enter. I think people get so scared thinking, oh, I'm going to be judged. And listen, that's probably how I would have felt at the time too. But the thing is, most competitions have, first of all, different categories, right? So if you feel better in buttercream than you do with fondant, or you're all about, sculpted cakes versus wedding cakes, there are different categories. And depending on the show, there's also different levels sometimes. So like some shows have, beginners, some shows have intermediate, there's different levels of things. There's even some shows have for kids, so you're never too young, too inexperienced to give it a go. You'll learn so much. And who knows, you may win, and the clout from winning a competition obviously makes you feel good, right? And you're challenging yourself and you're learning something new. The clout to have it, to say, I'm a cake artist, or I'm an award-winning cake artist, those mean totally different things. You put that on your social media that you won an award for your cakes, people are going to notice it. Whether it's somebody in the industry who wants to work with you, if it's a cake magazine like mine, that I'm like, wow, you won an award. Like, yeah, for sure. Teach me something, put something in the magazine, and then of course to your own personal community, that if somebody's buying a cake from you and they see that you're an award-winning artist, that's amazing. That's
It adds
instant
few
clout.
dollars to the bill.
Yeah. That's amazing. I want to win an award. That's great. So, and it's just really important, right? Because if the new generation of cake decorators don't enter these contests, competitions are going to die off. They already are. And it's distressing to those of us who remember the big shows back in the day. And maybe we won't get back to the numerous shows that we used to have, and some of them were like insane grand shows, but I think it's really still so important in the community to enter, because you meet other artists, you meet the judges, you learn things, and again, it's such a loving, accepting community that even if you don't win or there's constructive feedback, I think you'll find joy in it, and you'll learn so much entering into competitions.
I would like to add that all winners of Sweet Art Master Cake Competition have a privilege to be published in American Cake Decorating Magazine.
That's right. That is right. And there's money too. But yes, there's tremendous opportunity if you're in a cake show. Specifically, we're sponsoring yours, which is a great opportunity. First, we cover the shows, and that's where, especially going forward, our goal is to cover as many cake and cookie competitions as we can. I hope to attend almost everything this year personally, just so I can get out there and meet everybody. So not only do we cover the competition itself, so you're going to be in the magazine, you and your cake, and your name's going to be there, your cake's going to be there, all of that. Not only that, but then you have the opportunity to submit something, right? So, if you're already in the magazine and, in the magazine for the competition, but then, now you're going to know me, and now you're going to know the magazine, and now you can submit and be a contributor outside of the competition. It opens up these doors completely to work with us. Absolutely.
What is your advice? Divide on 3 parts: for beginners in the semester, for people who achieved something, and for the masters. I'm sure we can learn a lot. So
yes.
Provide advice.
So I think for beginners, just to reiterate, just try everything. Just don't be afraid. Watch the videos, go to shows, approach other cake artists. Somebody like you, Julia, if a beginner came up to you, you would talk to them, you'd spend all this time, you would mentor them. And so if you're a beginner, don't be afraid. Ask questions, go out there, read as much as you can, watch as much as you can, attend as much as you can, learn. Just keep pushing yourself. I think it's basically the same advice for intermediate people, right? You've won, one competition, or you've competed in something and maybe gotten, second or third or whatever it is, my advice is never stop learning, right? Like continue to push yourself, maybe learn a new medium, and learn from the masters. Like if you've already gotten to this, there's no stopping you to learn something new and really truly master the art of something. And for the masters, I would say mentor. Like someone like you know, you're doing your show, you're the judge because you are a trained judge, right? Getting to that level, to the fact that you actually have training in being a judge, like you can use your skills to further everybody else in the community, right? Like give back. And so a lot of people who may be retired from making cakes, you know, you can still teach, you can still mentor, you can still have conversations, have a cup of coffee with a younger cake artist and just give advice. That is invaluable. And it never goes on deaf ears. There's always going to be somebody that wants to learn something. And this community it's small, but it's big, right? There's always going to be new ears to lend your advice to. And, you know, even though the world changes, some of the things still stay the same. So,
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
yeah.
And my personal question,
Yes.
how do you manage everything, your personal life, your creative life, your business life?
Yeah.
Just what is your secret?
I think we were talking earlier. It's wine. No, no, it's really, I mean, everything's really intertwined in my life. It really truly is. I mean, I wake up every day, and besides the hour or so I get of exercise every single morning, my brain is constantly just on on work. But it's fun work, right? Like I'm doing something I love. So sometimes it feels like work, you know, and like, you know, my website's not working and I have to, you know, edit something that's hard to edit, you know, things like that. That's, you know, can be tedious sometimes, but I love what I do. And so sometimes I don't see it as work. And sometimes I get to lucky enough that I get to cross over, you know, every time I travel for personal life, my personal life, I always think, oh, can I use this some way in my business life? And oftentimes I can. You know, I got lucky. This was was this pre-COVID? No, post. Anyway, it was several years ago. I was going to Iceland, and it just so happened that a PR person reached out to me about an Icelandic chocolate company. And I was like, well, I'm going to be in Iceland anyway. Can I meet them? And they gave me a tour, and I wrote about them for Pastry Arts magazine. And it ended up being this whole thing for like a half a day. I brought my cousin. She was my photographer. It was great. We got free chocolate, and we just ended up enjoying our personal travels even more so because my job let me do it. That's so cool, right? Like
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely cool.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, sometimes I have to shut off the world. And honestly, my workouts every morning really do help me like focus. If I didn't have that, I don't think my brain would be focused enough. So I work out a lot.
So, what is your plans for next year, for 5 years ahead? Like,
Yeah.
maybe you have some project you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot going on behind the scenes at American Cake Decorating. I just took it over a few months ago officially. It is my business now. And there's tremendous,
Congrats.
thank you. And it was right before Thanksgiving. If you want to be stressed out during the holidays, buy a business. Um,
Good advice.
yeah. Well, just pile it on. But there's a lot going on. We're really bringing a heritage brand into a new era. That's our wide goal. It is going to be 35 years this year. The September-October issue will be marking the 35th anniversary. And we want to not just be a digital magazine. We want to be a hub online, whether it be a brand new website, which should be launching in the next month or two, brand new website, increased engagement on newsletters, some more newsletters, more content, free content online. So there will always be our magazine, but then we will offer free content online as well. So there's paid content and unpaid content. Really ramping up social media to share people's art people's work, people, just their personalities in cake. So even if you're not in the magazine, you can always tag our social media, and we love to highlight artists on social, even if they're not in the magazine. We're here to be a community. So really, we're looking to attend shows, really get our name back out there as like the premier cake magazine for North America, but also everywhere, right? We have artists from all over the world that contribute to our magazine. So that's our immediate goal over the next year. And then hopefully we'll get back into print. So I
Wow.
know everybody's clamoring
It's huge.
for it. Right now, you can order each magazine a la carte through a third-party service. So you can get a print magazine, but what we're really looking to do is go back to streamlining having a print subscription. So we're hoping in the next year or so we'll figure that out. Sid and I are like anxiously working on all the logistics in the background. So those are our two big focuses. We're really looking to ramp up video and really get out there and just talk to the community more online, in person, and really just engage with the community again. I think that's sorely missing. And we'd love to be the premier spot for the cake community.
It's awesome news. So, what do you love the most in our industry? What do you like more to be a part of the industry? Like you personally and your magazine as well.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I just love being able to look and promote pretty things, pretty sweet things. I mean, again, when I say what I do for a living, everybody's like, "Wait, what? You run a cake magazine?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I do." I love having the ability because, listen, I'm never going to be the best cake artist myself. I still love doing it, but that's really not my strong suit. What I found is my strong suit, and what I love the most is finding other talent and saying, everybody, look at this person. This person's amazing. Here's what they can teach you. Look at them. I think they're incredible, and giving the community the platform. That's what I love most about it. And it's sweet stuff. I get to like go things and eat cake. Like, who's gonna complain about that? I get to eat sweet things. That's amazing. So it really truly is a sweet industry, and I love it. I do.
So do what you love, and you will be very happy and successful.
Yeah, 100%. Just do what you love and make it. You'll make it happen. It took me years to kind of decide that I wanted to do food media, but I will never regret all the steps that I took to get there. And no matter how long it took me to get there and leave the fashion industry and get into food media, it was worth it. I love it. Do what you love.
Awesome. So I hope it is not our only one meeting.
Absolutely not. I'll be back.
Yes. So I would like to continue our discussion after your anniversary. And
yes.
I would like to add and promote this anniversary as well. So again, I'm very grateful for partner as American Cake Decorating Magazine. So it's truly amazing partnership. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
AnnMarrie, for your time, for magazine, for community, for everything. And I hope everyone enjoy our talk today. See you soon. With love, make cakes.
Bye.
See ya.